Welcome one and all, I'm Eback, I'm joined by Jerry the Music Man, and what have we got today? We've got Open Division. Jerry, which teams do we have?
We have the magnificent Doublecross and Suprion, so I'm glad you asked, because those are two very interesting teams at the moment. We're going to have a very quick look at the standings. We're diving right on into this.
Go on,
because
then.
I say so, because I'm on production today, and I'm going to drive it home very fast. So this is what we have. We've got the standings for Open Division.
Oh, they look so good.
They
Good
do
job,
look tasty,
Jerry.
don't they? Big up Rob for making this graphic as well. It looks lovely. So as you can see, Suprion and Doublecross, they're scrounging around the bottom there. This is a little bit misleading because Necrotic and X8, you can see they're both sitting on 0 points and 9 games. That's basically representing the fact that they're gone. They've left the division and everyone above them was granted 3 wins. So Doublecross are still hunting for, I believe, their first win of the season. I'm not entirely certain, but we'll see how they fare. They are, I believe, yes. Just had the confirmation from our lovely observer, Noah. So they are hunting for their first win of the season. Suprion have had slightly better luck, but they are still... They're struggling. They need to get a win today, realistically, to give themselves a chance for qualification. But that's not all that matters right here, is it, Eback?
No, not really. I mean, it's mostly that fact that they want to secure their safety within the next season. The top 5, as you've just informed me, because I'm not really around with Open very often, is the fact that the top 5 this season are safe. They stay in, so you've got to make sure you're above that spot, and both of these two are just underneath Suprion. They're on the same points as Mouse Plays White. They want to boost themselves up a bit. They need to go for the top spots. They can still both technically qualify for the playoffs still, like if they win all the remaining games and everyone else loses. So it could happen. We've seen crazier things, and this is the point where you do it. I've seen Doublecross in the past, a very long time ago, probably a good 6 months ago. I don't know if it's the same lineup, but they are certainly a strong team. So I'm hoping to see good things from them, maybe mounting their kind of comeback in this season, especially with a win, which they haven't had so far this season.
It's also worth mentioning that at the moment, Reactive Gaming, who are sat in 3rd and have won quite a lot of their games, they look like they're going for a disband. So it could completely shake up the standings. We're yet to calculate exactly how that's going to impact everything. But they have a lot of points that are then going to be sort of distributed amongst other teams. If you've lost against them, then suddenly you're in for a bit of a payday. Yeah, it's going to shake things up. I mean, that's the nature of Tier 4. You've got to deal with a lot of disbands. But yeah, it could mean that at the end of the day, one of these two teams have vastly different fortunes and vastly different potential outcomes to the day that they started with. So we're going to be jumping on into our game fairly shortly, but before we do that, we can have a quick look at the ban face. That's exactly where we're going to be going. So here they are. We've got Oregon and Cafe, the first to be banned. There are also bans. Consular and Coastline being banned out first. That's essentially our kind of very aggressive pair of maps, leaving Villa, Club, and Chalet. And Eback, it's Chalet.
It is Chalet.
I don't think that's correct. I may well have got that completely wrong. Noah, could you quickly...
I heard Noah told me it was
Fantastic.
Chalet.
This is exactly correct.
That was his invite to me. I'm like, oh, you guys casting? Like, can I join? He went, we're on Chalet. So I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Nice.
Pretty much the gist. What a fun map.
Yeah, it is a fun map. And speaking of which, we should be going into the game fairly shortly. In fact, we've got the call from our observer. Yes, we are here. We are ready to go. And we shall be jumping into that game right now. So
it's imminent. It's here.
Chalet is here. Jubilations. What are we expecting on Chalet? We've seen a little bit of it over SI, which I've been keeping not as tight an eye on as I would have liked, I have to admit, but there's been some good games here and there, and one particular highlight of my watching experience was seeing TSM completely tear apart. I believe it was a European team. I may be completely out there. It was someone. They were just absolutely like terrifying on this map.
In the what? I don't know what that is. I just pay attention to ECS. That's the only important thing in my Siege life. Yes, 100%. And we are starting off with a very T4 thing. It's not necessarily just that, but Nomad is banned out. Arguably not the most pivotal of operators here, as she can actually be very easy to counter as a roamer on this map. There aren't very many spots you can utilize her too strongly if you are a smart team on the defense. But you know what, Doublecross, they've saved themselves the trouble, I guess, when they get to their defensive half, starting out on the attack. They won't be dealing with Mira either.
No, they certainly won't. And Jaeger, the final ban from Suprion Esports, an interesting one there. I really don't know what to think about that. Whenever I see a Jaeger ban, I always think it could be part of strategy, but it also could just be the fact that they see in the other side a particularly potent Jaeger main, and there we go, Smarts. Clearly the one most hard hit by that on the side of Doublecross, as he cries in Jaeger main in the chat.
Yeah, not fantastic. I'm just scanning the players to see any familiar ones, and I don't believe I've seen any. So there we go. What on earth is that one in the bottom right? Vix?
Vix? Yeah, we'll go with Vix.
Oh, that's painful to read.
It is. Hydromeister, I think, is a newer pickup, potentially. I'm not too sure. But RD Stop is basically the oldest name in this roster, which is really interesting because a couple of seasons ago, he was the new kid on the block on the side of, I believe it was the old No Expectations roster. I'm struggling to remember the org that they were with at that particular moment in time. But it was with a lot of the sort of... This team is a kind of backbone made up of ECS oldies. They've got Proletariat and Ninja both in the sort of back end, either as subs or support staff. And
that's nice.
And Ardy was their kind of big gunner for a while. So interesting to see him here on the Ella. Definitely giving him that Scorpion is quite a good idea, I reckon. You know, give him as many bullets and a decent damage and fire rate as well as possible. And he's probably going to do some nasty things with it.
That is very likely, as Ellas most usually do. They're very nasty people, very nasty players in general, if you want to rely on her. With the Scorpion, especially the FO12, usually opted for, I see the most, generally, holding tight angles, but she is ready for those long-range fights. Gotta watch out for that recoil. Could come to punish Suprion. Their shooting has to be tip-top here on Master Bedroom, and they are on the defensive side. Trying to just shoot out some drones, make sure they're nice and safe early on. Hydromeister could be in trouble from these windows on Solarium. I need to get my calls sorted because I don't think I've casted this map before.
It is a map that I haven't casted as much either. I'm also, as you're talking about getting the calls sorted, having trouble with my actual call, so that you know, the feed itself is a little bit choppy for me even, and I'm on the production end, so I feel sorry for you.
Just a tip. Just a tip for you,
We'll be working
Jerry.
on that as time goes on. Yeah, it will improve. I'm certain of it. But for the time being, still 5 versus 5. Still, it could be anyone's game, and it looks as though the clear from Doublecross is focused mainly on repels. They're just trying to surround the site and gain a bit of a foothold inside of Solarium mostly. Fleshy opening up this bathroom window is going to apply some pressure to the player who's actually standing inside the bathtub, which is an odd position to hold because it pretty much traps you in this crossfire that can be held from between Solarium window and bathroom window itself. You can see the operators coming up those stairs as well. So full Solarium control virtually. You just need to be worried about this player on the door. They've opened up a sightline, but they don't expect him right on the door. That's B-Viking getting the refrag. Vix going down elsewhere, in fact. Hydromeister is the one mine still inside a bathroom, and we can hear the death come through of B-Viking there. He does fall, so that's an important position flushed out, but they don't expect the bathroom player, and the pixel angle helped perfectly by Hydromeister. Gets a double from the bathtub. Did he get a triple? I don't know. This guy's jumping in, and it's so tense. No, he didn't. He got a refrag from Fleshy. So 2 versus 2 ensuing now, and it's a pretty omnidirectional push here coming through from Doublecross. They're both stacked up in Solarium, and they just have this player on the shield to fight. Sultry does go down. That's the shield removed, and it's all up to Ardy in the 1 versus 2. Can he clutch it out? He's trying to clutch from the obvious position. He's got that rotate and the shield to work with. A nicely placed shield, I have to say, because it gives him the option to rotate freely. And he has done so, but he steps into the crosshair of Fleshy, who gets, I believe, a triple kill on the round. Fantastic work from the Sledge. Doublecross forcing their way into Bathroom and Solarium are just clearing out the site one by one.
It's the start they needed. Jerry, it's getting off to winning ways if they do want to win their first map of the season, and this would be a great place to do it. A pretty standard execute. They just kind of went in from your standard angles. They got caught off by some very simple plays of, unexpected, necessarily someone hiding in the bathtub. That's a very old chalet on silver rank kind of strategy. But, it can still work. It worked to great effect for Hydromeister, but when that player is lost in that position, you are so weak. The bathroom control being taken by the attackers is almost a death knell, and Fleshy was delivering the final blow. Bar and gaming will be attempted by Suprion. They're not sticking around. They're going to change things up. And what quite are they going to do with this setup? Because I've seen quite a few teams do a few different things here in terms of how they operate.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways of doing this. First of all,
i.e. not clash.
Well, the strangest thing about this is that you're seeing it come through with the mirror ban, right? Mirror is one of the staples of this particular setup. Being able to play in that little closet area next to gaming with a mirror window looking towards it and opening up some soft walls between the sites, that single mirror can give you so much control. But really, that's just the kind of last gasp effort that you're going to have. We can see a shield being set up and some holes. The Clash playing in this position could function as a mirror shield, but she does, of course, need a partner to buddy up with. The main thing about this hold is that it's a vertical hold, right? You need to keep control of the library because this entire site almost entirely destructible from above. There is that sort of patch in library that allows a bit more cover, but essentially you want to fight for control of library. And right now, Sultroy is going to be doing just that, taking down his Zaku before he can even set foot in the building, establishing their dominance on this top floor, making sure that they know Suprion Esports, this is their ground. Doublecross, you're going to have to come and take it if you want control of the site.
Zophia's one of the few operators on Doublecross's lineup who can really affect the gunfights later on in the round if it does come down to that extra bit of utility you want, the Lion or something that might just flush a player out and concuss them. But they're doing a pretty decent job without her. That's the first one down in response. Ethans takes down Ardy, and the Clash now is all alone. She's going to back off out of that position towards Hydromeister, but he's under pressure as well. The cross angle's now being held from the office balcony. Doublecross is a pretty quick and efficient start, despite that man lost at the very beginning to this attack.
So, basically the two Polish operators trading out there. You got the sister rivalry coming through. The Clash is a fantastic pick in this particular location. We've seen it a little bit at Six Invitational recently. She can hold this position just at the top of Fireplace and watch all of the possible entry areas from Piano Double Door, from the office soft wall, and from, well, what is affectionately known as K9 Balcony due to his prevalence on the old chalet way back in the original days of comp. But the Clash has been forced back onto Ivy Stairs and leaving the Wamai alone. That is, of course, Hydromeister sitting on that Fireplace position with a shield, mind you, so he is well protected. And this is the big choke point, really. It's just a question of whether Doublecross can clear it out or not. The angles are being held. This mirror slit is very useful for Hydromeister to be able to hold that window in particular with about 50 seconds left. Still no one budging on Suprion.
Yeah, this is not what I expected from Doublecross. The first minute or so was fantastic, but the minute following has just been really poor. They've stood in one area and not done anything. They're burning a bit of utility, but only on the top floor. No assault on the bottom. The verticals are important, but thankfully for them, they start winning some fights. Clash all alone. She's isolated there inside of library. Might have to drop away, but she drops the shield, takes down one. Can she find the second? No, but she's surely found. She's finished off the Ace and the Ash, pinching on her, but there's still two players down below. It's the Smoke now burning his canisters. There's no easy drop, and the other way, you've got a Castle facing towards you. He takes down the first, the second, the third is there for the taking. He misses the shot. He's going for the shorty. I thought he'd hip fire them for just a second. B Viking steals the moment of glory, but thankfully for Suprion, they win their first defense.
A chaotic end right there to the round, and to be fair, it did look like that was Suprion all the way, even after the Clash dropped. The amount of time left on the clock for Doublecross, and the fact that there were still 3 toxic gas canisters just denying that drop
What were they
was
doing?
spelling curtains.
What were Doublecross doing in that minute?
I don't know. They were really struggling, weren't they? You could see even as they pushed through.
That is a good answer to that question.
Yeah,
they were struggling.
They were struggling. That's what they were doing. They just can't get through. That was it. They kept chucking utility in the direction of the shield, and it kept getting caught because it was fairly staggered. We saw a Selma charge being caught by the Wamai Magnet at one point. You never get to see that. It's often forgotten that his what do you call them? Throwables, I suppose. They actually destroy shields as well. So it's a useful bit of redundancy.
Yes.
Yeah, the Selmas. Yeah, they destroy shields too. So it's useful to have that alongside, especially when you're in a situation, for instance, where Hizaku gets killed right at the off as the Zofia. So you're losing a lot of that sort of projectile explosives that you expect to be able to bring on the attack. And the ace kind of fills that slot quite neatly, but in the end, I think that early pick probably was the biggest defining factor, because it just left the attack without any kind of initiation strength, and they had no way of clearing the shield reliably. That shield stayed up well into the late round, and it was basically a time game by the end of it. It's really nice stuff from Saltroy at the end to grab a flashy little double kill, but yeah, the round was over before then, I think.
Smarts opting for a smart operator. 6 picking off 1 onto another, which is 0 over to the Iana. Both very intel based. We'll see how that can support the team as they try and move in. I imagine a similar attack will be coming out as to what we saw on the top floor previously, but Suprion, they don't want to stick around anywhere. They're moving around sites. This is the third one in the third round as well. A C4 attempted by the Valkyrie on Solarium stairs. Always takes me a moment. But doesn't get anything. Actually is taken out in response. She moves down the stairs. That seems a little bit too simple for the Valkyrie to be taken down. The Frost might be in trouble here as well as she's going for an aggressive peek. Now Hizaku not quite alert and ready to counter on it. No second man advantage gained for Doublecross, but still a good start from them again in the first minute.
Certainly is. We've got now top floor control. Not quite in the hands of Doublecross. They have Fleshy on this big window rappel, and Hizaku, crucially on the roof, finds... Oh no, in fact that was Fleshy managing to take down Ardy on the Frost, and Hydro responds, but is met with a refrag of his own. Nice shirt, getting that kill. I've just noticed the name. That's gonna
my
make
favorite Star Wars movie. Nice shirt 1. Pretty good. Anyway, 2 versus 4. Suprion, they're very disadvantaged. We've seen them with a man disadvantage in the last round, but they had 15 seconds to hold on as it was a vertical drop straight into the site. This is very, very different. We have players stacking up outside a trophy, and the Geminis. I was talking about the intel that can give them during the round. The smoke's position is known, but a C4 comes out from Saltroy, takes down 1. Good position for B Viking now. Oh, unfortunate that his teammate has fallen. It's all on the smoke. He's using those canisters to delay. It's going to be tough. 3 players coming towards him, and only 1 canister left. He finds the first with the SMG-11, holding a close angle with the shotgun, but the flank from the Zofia is enough to see his demise and see Doublecross to their second round. Now, that was a much better attack. They seem to be a bit more clued in on this side of the map so far.
They certainly do, and you could see the impact as well that Hizaku surviving had, because he got, I think, 3 kills in that. One was an assist on the opener. In fact, no, so I made the mistake in the moment, and now I'm making it again. It wasn't, in fact, the opening kill. The Sledge had that onto Ardy as the Frost, but Zofia had a key role to play in it, opening up the window into Piano from the roof and just forcing the Frost into a bit of a sticky situation. And then the Sledge had that nice long angle, not just from the big window, but also through Office, I believe, and then the doorway to take out the Frost. So very nicely done there. And then he gets a further 2 kills on the execute, including the final one to shut it all out. So very nicely done from Hizaku. Like we see here, yes, he has 2 kills, but 2 assists as well to his name. So making sure he tags on. Fleshy really doing the heavy lifting so far, but it's way too early to call it heavy lifting. It's fairly evenly spread. On the other side of things, Saltroy, he's been playing very, very nicely, and he's going to be moving on to the Aruni. He's got that P10 Roni in hand. I don't know how you feel about the P10 Roni, Evac. I feel like I'm not a good enough player to make it work, but everyone that's good seems to use it over the Commando, for instance, on Mozzie. and certainly over the MK14 on Aruni.
Fire rate, good pistol. Like, there's not too much reason. It makes sense, is what I'm saying, and it makes sense for the Aruni here as well. With that Jaeger ban, clearly they've been planning to run the Wamai. Hydromoist is clearly a fan of that operator. Why would you not be a fan of him? He's fantastic. So is Aruni. They double them up. No need for the Jaeger. Just annoy your opposition who might be wanting to run that. But they've got some other things, some other tricks up their sleeve as well. Still opting for the Ela, but it's that pulse, giving a little bit of info, potentially from underneath. It depends where he is playing. Could be under pressure as the Ashe mounts her attack, I believe, from Trophy.
Yep, this is Trophy on the bottom right, if I'm correct. I was looking away for a brief moment.
Yes, the pulse is underneath. He's barricaded himself in like mad, but there's 2 players inside of main entrance, which could be a huge problem for him. Oh, he's gonna get pinched so hard.
He really is. Apologies for the choppy feed as well, by the way. This is making it harder for us as well as you viewers, but we'll try and deal with it as well as we can. Is that a defender in... Okay, no, sorry. Okay, I'm finally getting to grips with what's going on. Vix is still this pest inside a kitchen. It does have a lot of pressure on him, but the reinforceable...
Oh, the Ashe died.
Reinforcement switch, right? He really should be dead right now, right? The Ashe is dead.
Yeah, the Ashe died.
How is the Pulse not dead in this situation? He's got like several soft walls around him. Finally, Fleshy will bring some sanity to proceedings, and now he's being shot up from above, and that may well have been the end of him. No, it was not. He manages to escape with his life. The Viking playing this hatch, though, with the SMG-11, that could be absolutely destructive from above. It's so common that we see that tear through operators using the verticality on this game. Are they still holding firm in Solarium? This is a very slow attack so far from Doublecross. Yeah. Nowhere near the same strength that they managed to push with on the first round. And Lugardi gets a whip of someone below. Oh, he takes his argue down to within an inch of his life. And now Nice Shirt one's the only one left with anything really to his name in terms of HP. Very few drones as well on the side of Doublecross. This is looking quite difficult for them.
Yeah, I was about to say the drones, like the lack of intel, all of them gone. It's a real nightmare. They have very little to go off, and that is just in regards to not just intel, but health as well. As you mentioned, there's very little they can do from here. I mean, they're going to walk into Aruni gates and likely die unless they have the projectiles to deal with it. They do have angles open towards the site, but they are all very risky. And with all the players bunched up in one position, it should be simple enough to just stop them walking through. And here they come into the bathroom. Their position given away by that Grismot. Can the... No. Hydromeister, he finds the first of this move. 3 in response. Nice Shirt 1 gets 2 and Smarts gets 1 back. Suddenly things in the favor of Doublecross. It's just down to Ardy. The plant is going down inside of Master. Smarts is responsible for covering this. Where is Ardy at the moment? I can't quite figure it out. He's inside of Piano. Very close. But speaking of close, this close player inside of the bathroom. Very tight to the door. It's a tough pre-fire spot. I don't imagine Ardy is ready if he's swinging round. Oh no, he was! He got a double and he's defusing! Wow! What a play!
One of the best plays we've never seen in ECS.
Send us that clip, Ardy. I want to see it.
Yeah, we got to see that.
How did he do that?
I mean, that's the thing about Ardy. Even if you don't know how he's done it, he's gonna do it because he's just that good a player, right?
Wow.
You don't need to know. You don't need to know how good he is. Just take our word for it.
He 360 no scope pistol hipfire headshotted the first one, and then he knifed the second one.
Yeah. Can you believe how badly Nice Shirt 1 whiffed as well? You didn't see him shoot Ardy a single time.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Horrendous. 2-2 is now the score. Smart's opting away from that intel, going for a bit more of a practical operator in the Maverick to help with that breach, which makes sense as their opposition go over to Wine Cellar and Snowmobile. No reattempt of the top floor, which is... Oh no, sorry, they just won the top floor. It was dining, wasn't it?
Yeah, they could have reattempted dining, yes. You're right. So they've now visited every single site, Suprion, which is rather puzzling, but also it speaks to the fact that, well, they at least know a little bit about everything. Either that or they know nothing about anything. it's difficult to tell, right, with Chalet, because at this point in the game's life, teams either have a prepared Chalet or they don't. Like, there's no kind of... At this point, it's not early. A lot of teams came into the into comp knowing that Chalet was going to be, you know, a factor, and they decided to prep a good Chalet, and it really shows. And now we're at a point where I think that if you don't have a good Chalet right now, then you're on the back end of things, right? It's starting to be played a bit more.
Looking at you, yeah,
show its head, and yeah, we need to see more teams like showing proficiency on it. And at this point in time, because of that, we don't really know at this level whether Suprion are competent and they're able to bring themselves to all these sites and they have strats for all of them, or whether they're just making stuff up on the fly.
Yeah.
The way that they've set up this site, I actually am inclined to believe the former. I think that they have something prepped. They have that open trench wall, which is very unusual for a wine cellar defense, and I think that that means that they're used to playing around this and that they know what they want to do with that particular area of the map.
It is nowadays, I would argue. Yeah. It was a very traditional spot for a smoke to play in on the old Chalet. I'm not sure how effective it is nowadays. We've got to see how that works. The Vector working its magic, though, taking down Ethan again, falling as the entry frag on the Ash quite often this game, not having a fantastic start. And Vix finds a second. He takes down Fleshy with a C4. And this round, suddenly, we're barely even halfway through, and a huge dent in Doublecross's hopes of going 4-2.
Yeah, and that 40 split is the magic number. Really, though, Doublecross, they have their 2 attacking rounds, right? And a third would be very, very nice. There's a lot of discrepancy across regions as to whether this is considered an attacking favored map or a defender favored map. NA seems to be more attacking favored, but everywhere else it leans the way of most maps in Siege, where you expect the 40 split on defense. Right now, Doublecross, they look like they're only going to be going 3 rounds max, because this is definitely edging further and further out of their grasp. We do see Smart on that snowmobile garage with the Maverick. We expect that he will be able to open up some angles, and they have actually taken site control. This Ace is in a position to plant, to be quite honest with you. They'd have to worry about a swing from Connect, but Smart is covering that. And there's someone at the end of blue able to keep it, but they don't have the
fuses on top floor.
He's trying to push into blue. We do hear the engagement. I don't know which way that went. I'm assuming it's RD stop, because that's a really nice close angle with the Scorpion. Take your bets.
Oh, no, the advantage was on the Ace, as he's the swinging player. Just has that slight split-second reaction to take down the Ella. So a man clawed back.
There's a flank.
For Doublecross.
We can see a flank.
We can see a flank, but it's the Ace winning yet again. He finds B Viking. Can this flank work out? Vixie's already found 2 this round. If he gets another 2, it's the win for Suprion. From a very weakened position, given how strong it was a moment ago. Another 2 found. It's a quad for the Ace. Nice shirt 1 with a fantastic step up. And it's down to Vix to find a quad or nothing in response. While the plant's going down, the covering player, this time for Doublecross, wins the fight. Hizaku doing what I believe... I can't quite remember who couldn't do it last time, but this time, Doublecross in that strong 2 versus 1 plant position. They cover themselves well, and they take the round. A great bit of individual play from the Ace.
And overall, a fantastic turnaround from Doublecross. That was a 3v5 at one point.
Yeah.
That was all on those remaining players of Doublecross. They managed to take control. It did cost them bodies, but I feel as though Suprion, clearly they just didn't have enough refragability in that situation. You saw, for instance, the balls it took for Nice Shirt to push into blue himself and just grab that initial frag in the 3 versus 5. He's allowed to push into blue, take down the Ella, and not get refragged. That's almost inexcusable from Suprion. Really, they should have at least 2 stacked in blue. It's such a power position. You have control over pretty much every entryway to site if you've got bodies in blue, so why not stick 2 there?
It makes sense. You need to cover a lot on this bottom floor. Like the rework of Chalet, it's opened a lot of questions. Arguably, in a lot of levels, like especially low-level Siege that I play, it's probably a worse site than it was before, because there's so much more you need to keep an eye on in a lot of ways. And you can focus on quite a spread. If you've got those roaming players, it means there's so many areas. It's a massive site, just somewhere that someone can sneak in on the attack, and that's exactly what we saw there. Just wandering in down the stairs, moving straight through and picking kill after kill. Will Nice Shirt 1 be afforded that luxury again, as Suprion for the first time repeat a site directly afterwards? I'm not sure. I would hope not, for the sake of the defensive side, as they are on their final attempt to bring it even.
So we have 3-2. I was not expecting that. Halfway through that round, I was saying, oh, the max that Doublecross can achieve is 3. Now they could actually get 4. And Smart is starting things off. Cooking a grenade. I wonder. I'm. It's a strange situation we're in with this choppy feed, because we have like moments of freeze frame where we can analyze it. It's as though someone's gone through a VOD review and pressed pause, and it's like, now we can see this, and this before it happens in real time.
Oh.
But Vix is gonna get the better of Smart. It's not too smart now. You're dead. Look at that.
Oh.
And he hasn't opened the wall either. That's a big blow.
Nope. Very disappointing. Losing the map, losing his final nade that he had as well. All his utility gone. Mav offers so much, but not for the rest of this round. Doublecross, they'll have to do it without him. 4 versus 5. They pulled it back from a 3 versus 5, but they are making things strong. They are making 3 of the opposition by getting a double. Nice Shirt 1 still just finding more and more kills, and Vix has usually been the man so reliable in these final situations, and he is gone alongside Viking.
We've got now Ardy and Hydromeister left in the 2 versus 3. They weren't able to defend this site 5 versus 3 last time, let alone 2. They're going to have to really put out all the stops here. They don't have much to their name either. These are operators that, well, the Wamai does gain in strength over time, but those Grishmots are out. We need to hope that they are well placed to give Ardy and Hydro some advantage in their upcoming fights. Nice Shirt 1, who has come alive in the last couple of rounds. 11-3 right now, sitting on the ace above main stairs, just waiting for his opportunity to come down. We've got again this Bosak sister standoff along blue, where Hisaku is just waiting for his moment to take down Ardy, but that shield is protected. Here comes the ace, and Hydromeister will shut him down. He is not alone, but Fleshy is just a bit too far behind to get the refrag. Now Hydromeister is playing behind these pillars. This pillar should be in a position to hold out. Fleshy takes down Ardy though, so that's blue control gained, and the sledge dropping to pinch onto the blue player seems to be the one. Take the 2 versus 1s, people. That is how you do it. Hydromeister now with 24 seconds left. He's in a winnable position. He does manage to down Fleshy, but his position now known. The bullets come through. He is basically trapped inside of connector with 12 seconds left. Kizaku, though, doesn't have diffuser. Hydromeister has sight over it. What's happened? Who has won? I can't tell. It's Hydromeister! He does it in the 2 versus 3. The 1 versus 2. The Wamai comes up big, and they claim a 3rd defensive round. Suprion are not out of this yet.
Well, interestingly, Doublecross, they had 3 2 versus 1 rounds in a row and lost 2 of them. Very disappointing. And the 2 that they lost were the ones where we didn't see it. So,
yeah,
very interesting there. Maybe it's a curse of the weird stream delay. But 3-3 is pretty solid for both teams. They should both be happy with their efforts so far. Doublecross, probably not as much. They'll feel slightly more hard done by. Suprion have been hanging on a bit in some of these rounds. Can they offer something up on their attack that they didn't quite show on the defensive side? They now have the impetus. Can they? I mean, the impetus is on them. It's they're on the attack. They've got to make sure something happens. And Doublecross are opting for, I believe that's master bedroom. No, wait. Yes, it is. They're bringing the Valkyrie as well. So a real switch up in strategy, it would seem, over what Suprion were going for.
Keep going, Ebak. I'm trying to fix the stream.
Ah. Okay. Fair enough. The Bandit as well to deny. I miss Bandits being regulars on a lineup. That feels like a very long time ago. He's just such a fun operator. But anyway, doesn't matter. The Aruni being opted for as well. Almost a necessity at this point without the Jaeger. They're not opted for the Wamai that Hydromeister loved so much and made a good bit of use of through those rounds. Gets in the 7-5. I mean, the kills across the board are pretty spread for Suprion and a bit less spread for Doublecross. They're a tale of two different teams here in terms of that reliance of frags. Nice Shirt 1 has been the man to pull out a moment. We've seen bits from Hizaku and Fleshy as well in particular, but often if they do win the round Doublecross, it is down to one or two particular players as opposed to the ability of Suprion across the team. But which one will work out? In just a best of one, it's not even a guarantee if you've got a full strong team. It might just come down to a few lucky rounds here and there.
So, 3-3. 1 minute already elapsed on this round, and it looks as though, of course, they are holding fairly far back. They're not bothering to contest library or anything. They don't have, I believe, any sort of... They do have some presence downstairs, so they are protecting beneath. This is important because Vix with those zero cams can get in underneath to clear bandit batteries, for instance, or you could simply do it the old-fashioned way, blow a hole in the floor with an ash charge or something. But either way, this sort of a double wall, if you will, on Library Hall and Fireplace is the real linchpin of this defense. And right now, the player inside Piano, he's free to shoot off anything that comes onto that wall. Hizaku, though, is going to be shooting off B Viking, removing the Maverick from play. That's pretty important. That's one of your possible ways of entry, getting through the bandit batteries, denying you in Fireplace at least. Nice Shirt is still holding firm on this bottom floor. He gets to an engagement there with the zero. Sounds like he doesn't come out too well in it. Vix may well have gotten that key refrag. If he hasn't, yeah, he did. He won that fight. Very important that he did.
Ooh.
Smarts, though, taking down Hydrameister outside on that rappel. Or, sorry, on that window. Now, that's... I believe Smarts was sitting inside of Master Bedroom. You can see the long angle he's holding. Ooh. Fleshy now, taking out Vix, leaving just Saltroy and Ardy in 2 versus 4. This is going to be very tough. They have a bit of utility to burn through that Syria gate, but really that's their only angle of approach. These foot level holes are going to make it so difficult as well, effectively creating a crossfire once she tries to walk into Piano. She's throwing out flank drone. Here the stuns come out. She does manage to grab Smarts, but in the meantime Saltroy has gone down trying to push forward himself, and now it's a 3 versus 1 as everything goes dark, and we do wonder he's going to come on.
Going dark. Ardy, stop. Here he comes. He's pushing on through the site. Oh, he's so close to Ethan's head. But that being said, there's only 12 seconds left. He needs to either find all 3 or get the plant down, and he's probably doing it right now. Oh, no, it's a replay because the Aruni did get the better of the Hibana. So there's a round for the defense. Pulled out in a pretty convincing fashion. I've got to say, Doublecross converting their strong attacking very fluently to the defensive side, and it's starting to look like their map ever so slightly, at least in my eyes.
They managed to grab that 4th round. That's very key. And yeah, I think that if they hadn't grabbed that, then they would have been in real trouble. Because, yeah, Suprion... That wasn't the worst attack, but it also wasn't the best. I feel like they lost a lot of their pieces before they got to use them. There wasn't an opportunity, it seems, to breach onto the double fireplace wall into box, and that really is the do or die in a lot of.
I think that's a mistake of the team, as they had Iana and Zero, 2 of the most intel-giving operators, to figure out where these players are and make sure you're not caught off, so your players are still alive when they can do that. And when they're not, that is a big fault of the team. And another big one, probably the biggest one, that you don't want to be walking on into without any intel is those frost mats. Nice Shirt 1, bringing out the frost. So many fragging players nowadays. I'm loving this surge of frost play across leagues at the moment, and I mean, she's a great operator. She always has been. And it's nice to see her getting some play. But especially from top fragging sort of players, they've realized the power of that weapon, the 9mm.
It is a great weapon. But I mean, like, that's not the only thing that she brings, right? The reason that she's being brought so often is because she's a jack of all trades now. With that sidearm shotty, it makes such a difference being able to delegate some of that destruction to another operator. I mean that you don't necessarily always have to be bringing out the smoke or the castle to ensure your setup is there, but you get the benefit of a shield alongside it. And those frost mats are just a bit of a bonus. Sometimes they can get you lucky picks, sometimes they don't. But even when they're not active, they provide a little bit of a safety buffer. You know that if someone jumps in a particular window, they have to either clear it or they have to shoot down. Look, for instance, at that frost mat on Library Hallway that we saw. Protected not just by a right angle shield defended Wamai on the stairs, but also by an Aruni gate. Like, there's no clearing that frost mat. If anyone ever jumps in there, they're dead to something or other, right? It's a powerful position to stick a frost mat in. It just gives you a little bit more map control in a weird way.
Well, Doublecross is not a great start. They've lost a good amount of health, especially Hizaku. Rather weakened. These Surya Gates, these Banshees, the IQ, telling everybody where all these gadgets are. Will they be able to deal with them? Well, they've been taken out. They've lost the buck, which is a really poor start. They don't have a sledge, which means a lot of the angles that they might want to open up, not an option. There is a very cheeky angle you can get onto the top of Backstore that Buck is absolutely perfect for, and that is no longer an option if they did want to use that. So Doublecross, again, they have the advantage. If they can take a 5th round here, they will be very, very close towards this victory. And here comes the Iana. No Gemini, she's going straight in. Frag first, gun second, to deal with the shield at the very least, but to try and take down the Wamai of Hizaku on the stairs, and finds him. But 2 found in 2 found on top, sorry. Make that 3 as Ethan finishes it with the Aruni. Another round for Doublecross.
There we see it, that position working out so nicely. Again, that hold just basically relying on the strength of the top floor defense and making sure that it's a last resort to ever have to make sure that you're defending on the bottom. I'm intrigued to see whether we see a change in the meta and playstyle towards that site where you actually attack up the stairs. I know that sounds horrible, but you have a couple of very quick options. You could potentially rush up from the basement through both the snowmobile stairs and also blue stairs and get very quick entrance to site and pick up a few kills on the way. I've seen it happen. I've seen a rush up up snowmobile stairs or fireplace stairs be coupled with a jump in the big window in gaming, and just yings, candelas, and all sorts of craziness going on. Basically a direct rush into site that completely bypasses the strength of that top floor hold, because most teams at the moment, while they are holding the top floor, while they're making it their own, they're not prepping for that potential rush, and they're not making the holes in the floor that you would need to control that sort of aggression. It's also a bit risky, because obviously if you do rush up those stairs and try to get into bar, then you leave yourself exposed to anyone above you inside a fireplace, and there's a very small window of opportunity where the defender could just swing from above and have, you know, an absolute field day, just raining hell with any gun of that, with whatever they happen to be wielding. And a lot of the time it's a 1-might, and that MP5K can be pretty nasty, or even worse if they happen to be having those, but that seems to have fallen off in sort of popularity. You're back. Did you go?
Oh, yeah, I'm back. You didn't notice I went. My Discord uninstalled itself mid-cast, so I had to reinstall it. I don't know what happened there.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe not so good. Speaking of rushes, while you were gone, Ethan is going to slap back on one because SP are dead. We have B Viking attempting a plant inside of A, but it looks like Smarts is probably going to get in the better of him. No. Decide to fall off that plant. They have full control of blue. They are deep inside. But now it's effectively a 2 versus 2 with Ethan down on the ground. Fleshy and Smarts left alive. Here, deaths coming through. Fleshy takes down B Vikings, and now it's all up to Vix. And they have an opportunity to res the down Malusi as well. This is not looking good for the Buck. Plenty of time to work with. And a drone to his name. But 3 bodies to fight. Does take down 1. Now he's inside of Connector. Don't know if they know this. They should be getting the intel fairly shortly, but he could be at this point anywhere between Connector and Blue.
Ooh, that C4 could be the saving grace here for Ethan. That throwable denial, whether it's area or just that a tiny nick of damage, is all they need onto Vix. You talk about the low damage weapons of the MP5 and especially the Roni as an option for players who have that high level of skill to get the headshots, but the body shots will do the trick as Vix is already low. Ethan stepping up with the kills a lot more so, especially on this defensive side as of late, and we're on match point already.
Alright. Now, this is squeaky bum time for Suprion Esports. They have struggled so far this series, or this season rather, Doublecross as well, but Doublecross look like they're about to get the better of them and grab their first win of the entire Open Division season. And like we said at the very start, with a bit of a disband coming through near the top of the table, it means that could all just shuffle everything up. We could see Doublecross leapfrog everyone, potentially. Suprion might be left in the mud. Yeah. We've only got 2 more weeks after this. It has to be mentioned, 2 more play days to allow for either team to secure a spot in the playoffs, if that's even possible for them.
That is not very much time.
No, or to keep themselves safe.
Yeah, they can only get a handful of points. I mean, Doublecross with a win here, they will equal Suprion's record. Not sure what the previous... I don't know if either of these teams have played the team who's dropping out, so that might juggle things around a tiny bit. But it's good for Doublecross, certainly, this result. It gives them a real good hope, as they're currently bottom of the teams that remain. So winning here against one of their very close on points rivals will give them that big boost, mentally as well as literally within the table, mathematically that is. They still got to seal it though. Getting to match point isn't everything. It will take them to overtime at the very least, but we need a comeback from Suprion if we're going to see that. Doublecross again, opting for this very Valkyrie-based play, a lot of intel, and then denial on top of that. Over in Master, what can they offer up? We've seen this site be rather back and forth so far this game.
We have. It's been a rather interesting one. We've seen a couple of different strategies as well, a couple of different approaches. The library take, we've seen a Solarium take, and now it looks like at the moment, most of Suprion Esports, they're clearing out from the bottom. This is an interesting approach. This is about as far from the site as you could possibly get, right on the other side and down the bottom floor. I think the theory behind this is that they make sure that they remove this position here from Nice Shirt 1. They can push up West Main, they can push up the blue stairs, and just choke out these positions that Fleshy and the Valkyrie are holding. But there are a lot of C4s at their disposal. They have managed to take down Vix, the entry on the Buck. That's pretty disastrous considering how heavily Suprion were going for that vertical play. They're not going to be able to use that skeleton key to maximum effect.
No, it's a really poor one. Vix has been very, very important with his impact kills so far this game, turning rounds on a dime. But when he's taken out immediately, it doesn't give you that option. It's down to the rest of the team, and you're looking across, and they haven't got many kills on the attack at all. They're just falling one by one. That's B Viking down. Hydromost has only got 1 on the attack so far. It's very disappointing, and it's down to him and Saltroy as Nice Shirt 1 finds another kill. That's his 15th this game so far.
He's tearing up. He got up to 11 quite quickly, and now he's woken up a second time.
Oh, it's another
Nice Shot 1. Can he get an ace to round off the podcast? No, he cannot. Hydromeister will make sure he lives another day, but it's a 1 versus 3. This has got to be it pretty much for the Ash. He has to pull up some heroics here. Using that last breaching round to give himself a bit of an ingress towards the site, but that's effectively just opening up a potential crossfire for him as he walks into this Aruni gate. He's getting choked out. The breach hasn't come through. He's going to give himself another option here, opening up the K9 window, looking to walk on into office, but it's just a case of pick your poison right now as Azaku is sitting back alongside everyone on this defense. They just have to bide their time and secure themselves the win. It's only a matter of time right now. The second toxic gas canister comes out to choke out Hydromeister. He's not going to be getting through that door now. Smart just sitting back, doing exactly that, being smart. Hizaku, though, going down. The swing comes through. Doesn't quite land the shots onto Hydromeister, and Smart pulls back. I do believe Hydromeister will probably be able to clutch that one out, but no! The swing comes through from the smoke. The shotgun to finish it all off. It wasn't the swing. It's just waiting, biding his time. Thrown by that hole. GG's come through. Doublecross to secure their first win of the season.
Very convincing on the defense and pretty solid attacking all around. It was just those 2 rounds that they lost that we didn't really get to see. So from the viewing perspective, I guess some of the weaker plays of their team in general, we missed. So they just looked even better. So a very good and convincing performance from Doublecross. The sort of thing I've seen them do in the past, and they are converting it well here in the present. Speaking of the future, we'd alluded to it towards the end of that cast, but how important could those points be in relation to the table? You might want to just have a quick gander at it again if you can get that up and see what that win, if we can imagine. No?
That's asking a lot of it.
That is asking a lot.
I'll try. We can have a quick look at the standings before today. This is not exactly how it was. If you give me 2 seconds.
Very good from Doublecross anyway, and a pretty solid effort from their opposition as well, especially on their defensive side. On the attack, didn't seem to have as much an idea, and you were talking about kind of midway through early in the game that with their defensive setups, like moving around the place, doing different things, does that show that either they are flexible in terms of they know what they're doing, they've got lots of different ideas, they're prepared? Or is it, we've seen a lot of things, we don't know what works, we need to practice more? And
it's seeming more like the latter.
Yeah, it does with the attacks, yeah. It seems like maybe not as much, unfortunately, so far on Chalet. Hopefully on the other maps that they'll be doing. They've got 2 more. One of them could be Chalet, but definitely not next week because that is their auto ban. They'll be going to probably a more regular map, trying to get some points on the board to get ahead of Doublecross, who have now caught up with them.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, that really is a do-or-die match for Doublecross and Suprion. They're going to... Suprion are going to suffer from that loss, you can tell, because Doublecross are a team that they probably were eyeing up as potential candidates for 3 points for them, and now they haven't got it, and Doublecross have turned it around. So yeah, it's a cruel mistress sometimes, the league format, but you've got to be fighting for those top 2 spots in Open Division. The last they can do, the most they can do now, I think, Suprion, is continue fighting. I don't know if the qualification spots are in their grasp. Again, like we mentioned earlier, there's been a disband in the division, so that does change up the standings somewhat. So you get updated standings at the end of the week. But Doublecross, well, all they can do from this point on is just win all their games, and they've given themselves a good start at that. So with that, Ebac, it's been a pleasure to have you here. This has been a rather interesting cast. We've obviously had some issues with the clean feed throughout, and I do apologise to all of you watching, but we wanted to deliver at least something for you people to watch and to get some enjoyment from. So I hope that we've done our best to do that.
ECS radio, effectively.
Yeah, it was like kind of a radio broadcast, wasn't it? Next time, hopefully, it'll be a bit better. Tomorrow, we do have some major division matches coming your way, so look forward to those. We'll be taking a day off on Sunday. There will be matches taking place, but we're going to leave that clear for the SI Grand Final, so make sure you all watch that, because it's going to be a blast. I can bet probably going to be a LATAM team winning, if we're, if the rest of the tournament is anything to go by. But that's it from us here at ECS. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much for coming, and goodbye.
I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly.